It's possible that in the near future, the world is on the verge of falling apart. The amount of debt in the world has now reached $300 trillion. As a result, interest rates get out of hand and countries drown under the weight of the claims they have made. Economies fall apart, currencies fail, and whole areas have to switch back to trading and surviving. The International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, which used to be signs of order, are now the only organizations that can work together to find an answer. Then a crazy idea comes out of all the chaos. A plan that is so far-fetched that even the most skeptic economists say it is impossible. That's what it's called, GRE 2.0, and at its heart is a single brave move. Ripple's global escrow funds will burn off almost all of the XRP that is already there. This is not a punishment or a bug, but the world's final financial reset button. In this made-up plan, the smartest people at the IMF, with the help of a group of central banks and blockchain engineers, decide that XRP is the best global liquidity asset because it can handle debt, move value quickly, and keep things open across borders. But they also know that value needs to be changed in order to bring balance back to a world that is full of debt. Artificial shortage is the answer. In a digital act that has never been done before, they want to burn 99% of all the XRP that is held in escrow, leaving only a very small amount of the total stock whole. As a result of one planned burn, the world's debt would be paid off, and the leftover XRP would become the new digital currency of value. What comes next is a story that changes the way people live. As the made-up day of activation approaches, screens all over the world flash with a single word from the World Bank's brand new Global Digital Reserve Unit. The process of burning has begun. Transaction ledgers start to glow red in just a few minutes. Massive escrow wallets sign off on their last transactions. As one by one, trillions of XRP disappear into thin air. The number of coins in circulation drops from billions to a few 100,000 in just a few hours. The entire world stands in shock as the blockchain records the impossible. Every node on Earth could see this total declining event. The XRP ledger, which used to be a network with a lot of money flowing through it, is now the strangest piece of digital infrastructure in the world. Every XRP that stays alive becomes a sign of value. Each coin could possibly be worth millions or even tens of millions of dollars. It's time for the Great Reset 2.0, the biggest fake revision in the history of the economy. In this alternate reality, nations became stable right away. Once measured in trillions of dollars, national bills are now balanced out by the reserves that have been burned. The IMF says in a statement that the value balance has been restored. The event was called the biggest debt eraser in history by analysts. Coins and bills start to match up with a single world standard for the first time in decades. But not everyone has a party. When digital shortage appears out of nowhere, it causes chaos in all markets. Normal buyers are scared. In one night, the prices of gold and real estate drop. People who had even a small amount of XRP before the burn are the only ones who can say they lived through history. There is no longer an investor in them. They are now in charge of the world's value. The new global payment network goes live a few weeks after the made-up fire, built right on top of the XRP system. It turns into the standard layer for foreign accounting, trade, and money. Each country connects its own currency to the network. This makes an ecosystem that can handle deals instantly and prevents debt from getting out of hand again. The European Central Bank, the US Treasury, and even the People's Bank of China all join the unified scheme and connect their own digital currencies to the XRP base layer. The world moves into the era of digital balance, which scholars will later name. A time when there is no such thing as debt and only peace. Talks of a plot start to come out from under the quiet, though. Was Great Reset 2.0 really a well-planned rescue mission? Or was it just a way to get more power? Some people think that the burn was never an act of redemption, but rather a carefully planned transfer of wealth by a small group of central digital officials. Documents that were stolen and stamped IMF confidential show algorithms that accurately predicted the exact value of XRP after the burn, indicating that the event was planned years in advance. Other people said that a secret group of blockchain builders knew this was going to happen and built the XRP ledger to handle such a huge drop from the start. Number. Matter what the truth is, one thing is certain. From paper and politics to code and consensus, the balance of power has been forever changed. As made-up experts look into what happened, the numbers are truly shocking. The last few XRP coins in circulation are now worth $10 million each, and they represent a whole new financial world. Every country's reserve ledger is reset to this new standard, which gets rid of the idea of inflation and deflation for good. In the history of the world, money becomes limited, clear, and definite for the first time. The last peg is what economists call it. It's the end of fiat's rule when even traditional assets like oil and gold start trading in terms of XRP. One XRP coin is now worth as much as many businesses put together, and owning one is seen as a sign of national sovereignty. In this made-up world, the event really does have a big effect on people's minds. Billionaires disappear quickly, and a small group of early believers become almost mythical. Digital value authorities are set up by governments to keep an eye on the remaining stock. People no longer think in dollars or euros. They think in XRP microfractions. Quantum ledger terminals are used for everyday activities. A millionth of a coin can buy a house, and a billionth can pay for all of your costs for life. Scarcity in hypers becomes both a blessing and a curse, a kind of perfect balance between having too much and not having enough. Historians would later say that the Great Reset 2.0 was the time when people not only changed their economies, but also their ideas about what is valuable. Debt. When accountability took the place of freedom as the engine of society, money turned into code, and trust became a digital truth that could be checked. It was the riskiest experiment in the history of money when the IMF said they would burn fake XRP to restart the system. In this uncertain world, one thing stays the same. It's still not clear whether it was rescue or manipulation. A lot of economic theory over many years had not been able to solve the problem. It changed what wealth was,